I just stuck a bull. This bull has been sounding gnarly, nasty. On my right, there's two bulls fighting. I can see them going, their bodies moving back and forth between the trees. And then all of a sudden I hear this. There's another bull right there. Walking through his aspens.
I shot him. You didn't hear that?
No. We both just shot the same bull.
I shot him first.
He shot him first. Oh my gosh. What a heck of a pursuit, dude. All freaking day.
When your buddy calls you, says you got a buck down. And what does he got? A buck down.
Look what I found.
What a sweet coos, man. Opening day, heck yeah. Way to go, Steve.
Built mountain tough, Scree Gear offers hunters the highest quality clothing for affordable prices. With patterns designed by military concealment specialists, Scree Gear brings you closer to the game without being detected. With every climate in mind, Scree Gear hosts a huge selection of clothing for all the terrains of North America and beyond. Check out Scree Gear today at www.screegear.com. Use promo code BowhuntingAZ for 15% off your first order.
National Automotive Repair is a locally owned and operated auto repair shop in the heart of Phoenix, Arizona. Jake McLaughlin and his team operate their business with a foundation of honesty, quality, and integrity. From routine oil changes to larger mechanical repairs, National Automotive can solve your issues and have you back in operation. The shop is located right off of I-17 and Thunderbird off Sweetwater Avenue, or call Monday through Friday from 8 a.m. to 5:30 at 602-978-3278. Arizona Archery Club is a premier partner with Bowhunting AZ. When it comes to attention to detail and a fiery passion, Arizona Archery Club brings it all to the table. With all the latest bows and archery equipment, you can demo every single model in person free of charge in their multiple demo rooms. Walk through the process with an experienced bow tech and see which bow is right for you without the sales pressure. Their indoor archery range offers air-conditioned lanes where you can shoot out to 40 yards. Take this awesome opportunity to hone in your accuracy and technique. When you visit, be sure to mention that you're a listener to the Bowhunting AZ podcast. Let's all support local. Real estate agents, are you looking to make your listing stand out? Arizona Listing Media has been transforming real estate listings since 2013 with their 5-star Google-rated services. Arizona Listing Media offers stunning photography, captivating drone footage, immersive 3D tours, and engaging video reels to showcase your properties at their very best. Are you ready to elevate your marketing game? Visit ArizonaListingMedia.com and book your session today. Let's make your next listing unforgettable.
Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of the Bowhunting AZ podcast. Tonight's episode is a particularly special one because we are out here at the Wild Game Night at Radiant Church. So we've got Pastor Caden here. Caden, welcome to the podcast, man.
Good to be here.
Thanks for
a great night.
Thanks for hopping on, buddy. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Awesome. Great to be here. Gonna be a great night.
Now I got your mic going.
Perfect.
So we're doing a live on the spot podcast. So you're going to hear a bunch of noise background, stuff like that. But we're just literally talking to anybody that wants to hop on and talk. But I wanted to start with Pastor Caden because you're kind of the father of this whole project pretty much, right? Can you just get right into it and just tell us a little bit how this whole thing came to be for the Men's Wild Game Night?
Yeah. So when I was growing up in Prescott, we started doing a similar event. My dad started a similar event, and it was like, I think it was like 99. And same event has been going on for 26 years up there. But I remember the first one they did, I think there's like 150 guys that show up. And the big giveaway was this GPS, and they just kept building from that moment. And so when I started down here at the church, I was thinking about that event and like, man, there's a lot of guys down in the valley that love to hunt. They love the outdoors, a lot of that stuff. And so really, it started out of what I grew up in. But just with the idea down here in Surprise and in the Valley, how can we be an encouragement to guys, get guys together? And I know you use this terminology of iron sharpens iron, and just creating kind of a community, an environment where maybe there's connections, even as small as your guys' relationship. Like, I met this guy, I needed help with my car. You know, I just think that stuff like that can come out of one of these. On top of that, there's guys through an event like this that are going to put their faith in God for the first time through some of the stuff that we do, and maybe the guy that's speaking or whatever. And we've seen that the last 2 years. And then even to the point of guys that maybe grew up around church or faith or whatever, realizing, man, I need to get my family back in church. And so that's kind of the overarching thing. But even beyond that, just creating an environment of guys with similar interests, whether it's hunting, fishing, outdoors, all that kind of stuff. And just realizing that, man, the community is pretty large, and there's not a lot of times where guys get to celebrate and kind of get together with that in mind. And so all of the stuff going on, I mean, a ton of giveaways, and I know I think we're giving away like 7 guns tonight, and all the fun stuff. On top of that, there's kind of just that faith connection too. So that's kind of what we've been doing over the last few years, and it's grown every year that we've started it to something that I didn't even realize. I think we're gonna have close to 1,000 guys on campus tonight. So
wow,
yeah.
I remember the first time. I think first couple ones were like 700 or so. I think the very first one, you had the owner of Matthews come out.
Yep. Yeah, he gave away a couple bows. And,
and then last year's was the season 5 winner of Alone.
Yeah, Dave McIntyre, and he actually passed away this year.
Oh, wow.
And so when I picked up Willie last night, I'm like, hey, so the guy last year passed away, and so I don't know if that might be a little bit morbid. But
it's a trend here.
He was an awesome guy, and I actually watched the service that they did, or part of it live or whatever. But I'm like, let's not make this the trend every year.
Right.
Yeah. So do you want to name drop then who we're having tonight?
Well, yeah, tonight we're really excited. Most my guys that are in the outdoor world know who he is, but founder of Buck Commander, CEO of Duck Commander, Duck Dynasty, the show, Willie Robertson, is coming to hang out with us tonight. So it's gonna be awesome.
Heck yeah.
I mean, even if you're not a hunter, you know who Duck Dynasty, you know, so that's
I
what's
think
really cool.
probably a majority of the guys, at least, and I'm sure plenty of women too, have seen an episode of Duck Dynasty. How do you not watch it and just get a kick from the comedy, you know, all the stuff, the shenanigans that they do? Like you've got to love it. So I'm pretty sure 99% of people probably have heard of who he is.
Yeah, and the way that they are on the show, from what I can tell, is the same way that they are in person. It's not like a facade. It's like, no, this is really how they are. The funny stuff and the faith and all that stuff. So it's really cool.
Well, there's some
awesome.
Louisiana Southern boys, right?
Yep. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Awesome, man. Well, appreciate it. You got a quick little hunting story you can tell us before you get off? Sorry to throw that at you, but
Or something you're aspiring to do? Or?
yeah.
So I want to copy this guy and go to Africa. I haven't had the opportunity to do that yet. I've been there as a kid, but haven't killed anything in Africa. So that's like the top of the list for me.
Yeah.
But 3 or 4 years ago, we went down to Florida, and I'm like elk hunter, Arizona. That's all I know. Right. So we go down to Florida, and Ken, who you know, is like, hey, we're gonna go kill some alligators. And so there's only so much preparation you can do for something like that. I'm like, I don't know what to expect. What do we do? Walk around a swamp and just shoot them? Like, what's gonna happen? So we go down there. We get this guide, and he brings a fishing pole and a pistol. It's like a 22. And I'm like, what are we going to do? 4 guys with a fishing pole.
So big old alligator and a 22. Yeah.
Exactly. It's a massive hook on this thing. And he just starts walking around these swamps, poking around. And then he tosses it in and hooks one, throws you the pole. And he's like, all right, reel it in. And so you're trying to reel an alligator. And you're like, how close do I get to it before it's going to bite my leg off? So you're reeling it in. And when it gets to like a certain distance, he's like, all right, give me the pole. And he hands you the gun, shoot in the head. And he shows you exactly where to shoot it. And that's like the whole thing. And it's like, this is not what I expected at all for this kind of a hunt.
Wow.
But one of the most fun things I've ever done. It was redneck heaven. That's all I can say for something like that.
Sounds like it for sure.
A lot easier than an elk hunt, but just as much fun.
Yeah.
So that's the story that kind of comes to mind of probably the craziest thing I've done hunting wise so far in my life.
Well, that goes on my bucket list now of crazy hunts to do, because my other one is Texas hog hunting. Have you heard that? How they
Yes,
hunt
out of like
hogs?
the helicopter, bro. That's what you
Well,
need
no.
to do.
They do a better one.
They get even crazier.
hounds.
Yeah.
They get hounds
Oh.
with Kevlar vests, and they'll actually bay up the hog, and then a guide will run, grab the back feet, pick it up, and then you have to run up with a Bowie knife and knife it in the heart.
Oh my gosh, that's
Yeah,
I'm gonna add that to my
a little
list. That's
scary.
So
crazy.
when you
Yeah.
said that, that's what I'm thinking. I'm like, dude, that sounds like Texas hog hunting, but Florida style, as you're
Wow.
hunting gator hogs or water hogs
Crazy.
or whatever you want to call them.
I'm adding that to the list.
Yeah,
I'm
that's
sure
awesome,
the
man.
experience though in Florida, the food, the atmosphere, all that was probably just a blast though.
Yeah, a lot of fried food. Got to go fishing while we were there. Great time.
There you
Yeah.
Awesome, buddy. Well, I know we want to respect your time because you got to go grab somebody very important for tonight. So I
Yeah.
thank you, man. I
Appreciate you
it.
guys. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's gonna be a great night. Thanks for being out here.
Oh, thanks for
Thanks for
having
having
us.
us. Yeah,
Awesome.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
Awesome, buddy. Thank you. Hey, everyone. Welcome to our Wild Game Night live episode. I'm here with Lee Metcalf. You all just heard Caden tee it up for us and start the episode. So now we have his dad. Now, my understanding is that you, I think, originally started this event up in Prescott, right?
Hey, we did, yeah. First one I know in Arizona. We started 26 years ago.
Okay.
That's awesome.
Who do you remember who the first guest was that night, or like how did you go about? Did you just do a sermon? Did you just talk, or what? Like what
Hey,
was
we
the
had, I
speaking
think,
point?
one of our first nights, we had Chuck Buck of Buck Knives.
Oh, wow.
And
Nice.
he's the guy,
That's cool.
he had quite a story and came and autographed everybody's knives. Everybody had a Buck knife. Probably
Everybody
100 guys
did,
in the room had a Buck knife on him at that moment. And he engraved his name on it. It was awesome.
Oh man, that's cool.
super cool.
How many years after that have you done it? Do you still do it up there? Like,
Yeah, we had a couple weeks ago up in Prescott. It was the 26th year.
oh, cool.
Yeah, it was
that's
awesome.
How has it been? I guess from a father's perspective, watching it grow, and your son kind of do the whole thing and lead it and take it off as well.
Oh, it was cool. Yeah, he was a little kid in the first one, so he got behind the scenes, obviously, and meeting all the guest speakers that come in for every time, and it was really cool as a kid for him. Yeah, just
That's cool.
winning knives, and I don't know if he ever won a gun, but he won a lot of prizes during those years.
Do you have like out of all the years of hunting and stuff that you've been doing, do you have one specific hunt that kind of sticks out to you? I heard you did South Africa. 'Cause he was
Oh, we
talking
did.
to me.
Yeah, there's a lot of memorable hunts. Probably if I think of just probably the most memorable hunt, it would be the first time I took Caden on an elk hunt.
That's awesome.
I think he was 11 years old when he drew his first tag on a junior hunt.
Oh, yeah.
And we went up in Unit 4. I think we were up in 4A up Woods Canyon Lake area. And remember on his second day shooting a cow elk, rifle cow elk, one shot, dropped the thing. And all the emotions that a young guy has in that moment that were racing through his mind. Never forget that. He sat down with his back turned on away from me because he didn't want to see the tears
that
coming
you're
down his
crying.
cheek. It's like you have the excitement, the happiness, the sadness. I just killed this big animal. I'm excited to eat it, but I killed it. It's just kind of just the emotion. But it was that father-son moment.
That bond. Yeah.
That just absolutely amazing moment. We sat there for probably 20 minutes on that log. And I never forget the conversation just about how, hey, that we've had these animals are for us to eat and enjoy for our benefit. Just kind of a lot of life lessons in that moment that was really, really cool. Wouldn't trade that for anything.
That's cool.
Absolutely.
That's awesome. Yeah, those moments are so special. I kind of saw that in reverse with my dad because I started hunting just before I was 30. My dad was an outdoors guy, but not a hunter. And then at 65, he killed his first bull elk, and I was standing right next to him. So I kind of saw that, but in reverse, and that was super cool. And yeah, just to take that all in, with someone special, like a father-son, son-father, whatever, like that's such an awesome moment.
Yeah, I always heard you take a kid to hunt when they're young, and when they grow old, you won't be hunting for them.
That's true.
Yeah, probably second greatest is my daughter, and her killing her first elk. So it's absolutely amazing moments to take your kids and just experience that joy with them.
What was your first hunt? Did you start here in Arizona, or where did you
I
start
did,
hunting?
yeah. My dad took me on my first elk hunt. I was 15 years old.
Okay.
And I think up in the same area, close by, it might have been
Right
5B
there.
up in
Are you
Arizona.
a native?
I am, native
Oh, wow.
Arizona. Yeah, I grew up in
Ah,
Arizona.
that's
Drew my
cool.
first tag at 15. My dad, just me and my dad, took me out and killed my first elk. It was absolutely amazing.
That's awesome. Now, do you prefer bow, rifle, agnostic to either?
I prefer bow. Yeah,
Okay.
I put in for archery. Hard to get a tag these days for archery,
Yeah.
but that's absolutely my favorite. Nothing like being in the rut in archery season.
Oh, yeah.
It's just the funnest there is.
Yeah.
I love it.
Absolutely. Now, so you've done some overseas stuff. South Africa, I've heard. Where else have you hunted overseas?
I haven't that's the only one I did overseas, just
Okay.
with a friend in South Africa. I went to visit him. He was working over there in South Africa and went on to get the meat. And I wanted to shoot a kudu, but there were no big ones around in the area. We didn't see anything big, but settled on an Inyala, which is the only thing. They're only in South Africa, and it actually ended up being a Roland Ward record book size. So it was really cool. Yeah.
They look cool, and they look very similar to a kudu. Like, they're a cool animal. They've got that kind of Bengal pattern and stuff, and they're cool animals.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Beautiful hunt.
Anything else? Just the Nyala, or?
It's the only thing I took while I was over there.
Okay.
Yeah, hoping to go back someday, get a few more.
You need to, man. I had when I went, the guide looked at me and he said, with his South African accent, he's like, Africa, once it's in your blood, you never stop coming back. And he was right. I cannot wait to go back again.
Yeah, I believe it. Yeah, it's very cool.
Well, that's awesome, man. I appreciate you being willing to come on and tell us a little bit about the story.
All right.
And, have you had a chance to meet Willie yet?
No, I haven't.
No?
Looking forward to being here just a little bit.
Yeah. Jake, you got something?
I was just gonna say the fact that he's talking about going over to Africa and shooting this trophy animal that was a record book animal, but still the hunt with his son is the one that's the most memorable. Is what truly is what's awesome. That's why we do it. Why we get people together to get them into the outdoors.
Yeah, I love it the best. Probably, even probably matches with my daughter. I mentioned her getting her first one at 15. She was a little bit mad at me. She said, "How come you didn't take me when I was younger?" I said, "I begged you to come when you were younger. You just wouldn't go."
Just didn't want to.
She goes, "Well, you should have made me. If I knew how much fun it was, I would have come a lot earlier."
Well, you're giving me hope because I've got 3 girls, and so far none of them have wanted to hunt. The 2 older ones are not interested. My youngest one for sure probably will, because she sees, like, I'll watch a hunting video and they're gutting it. She's like, "Ooh, steak!" But my 2 older ones, they're both cheerleaders and they're kind of on the girly girl side. So you're speaking hope into my life that they'll come around and want to do it.
Get them out there one time; they'll absolutely love it. Nothing like a father-daughter moment, spending a few days together in the woods. My daughter loves it so much. We went, let's see, I guess 2 weeks before her wedding, just me and her went on an elk hunt.
Wow.
And she killed an elk then, and then she just got a tag this last December. I took her again.
Awesome.
So we're still, ever since she's 15, and we're still, every time she gets a tag, I'm right there with her.
Cool. That's so cool.
That's cool. Keeping the traditions.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah. Awesome, man. Well, I appreciate you coming on, brother.
All right. Thanks, guys.
Anything else
Appreciate
you want to say before you go?
No, I appreciate it.
All right.
That'd be good.
Awesome. Well, thank
nice
you.
meeting you.
All
Thank
right.
you.
Hey, thanks.
All right, folks, we're up here at our next part. We've got a very special guest here. We've got Ryan Smith from Hunt AZ. I think everybody pretty much follows him.
If you don't, then
Yeah.
Fair enough. Thanks,
And
guys.
We've got his son, Ryder. What's up, buddy?
Nothing.
Nothing. This is awesome that we've finally been able to link up.
finally been
one
able
in
to do this.
person, 2 to podcast, and
Yeah.
I'm sure we'll podcast again, no doubt.
Yeah, we've been talking about it for a couple of years.
I know.
Finally get it to make it work.
You're down in Tucson, right?
Yeah, and it was a terrible drive. So,
And I'm way north up
Yeah.
here in the north side of the town, state, whatever. But this is good to finally link up. We're here tonight at the Wild Game Night. We're gonna have some good grub. Gonna have some good service.
did you find some raffles over there that you like, or?
Oh yeah.
We haven't even kicked through them yet. We just kind of went around. We looked at the little baseball pitching thing and then the axe throwing stuff. But
Yeah.
There you go.
those axes are for real. Like, they're heavy. And I was like, I don't know that he's going to be able to throw them that far. I mean, he's not the littlest kid, but he's not
Might
big.
have to do the overhead swing
Yeah.
like that. Yeah, you can get it though. I
Toughen
bet
up a
you
little bit.
Well, that's awesome. Brian, do you want to tee it up for a cool hunting story?
I don't have many cool hunting stories.
come on.
No,
They're all pretty boring and sad, huh?
cool hunting story, huh? I guess what do you want? You want to talk one of yours?
I don't care.
Yeah, let's go to him.
You want to do this? You want to do this year's deer or last year's deer? Which
This
one's
year's.
cooler? This year's deer?
This year's? Oh yeah, look at his confidence.
Yeah, he was all pumped about it. We got after it down south of Tucson. This is his second deer tag. He didn't draw last year, so last year I gave him my tag. This year he finally drew a tag.
Yep.
We went out. It was the youth tag this year, and so it was any antlered. First day we got after it. We were able to get into some dang good muleys actually.
Yeah, there was one really good muley.
Yeah, they were, but we glassed them up at about 1,000 yards, and there was no, obviously he's 11. I'm not letting him shoot that far. But the other thing is it was flat. It was like super flat.
Okay.
And we weren't able to clear much distance, so we almost had to, like, for lack of better terms, archery hunt him with a rifle.
Right.
And we got into like 40 yards from this buck, and he was a good buck. I'd say he's like that 150 kind of class.
Oh, still a great buck.
Yeah. We got into him.
His face, yeah.
And we were like looking this way. You know, we were looking right out in front of us.
Wait, this is mule deer, right?
Mule deer.
Okay,
yeah.
I was like, bro, that's a coos. What?
No. Yeah, I would. Yeah.
Where are you hunting?
No, Unit 14.
Can we
That's
be
where
friends?
it was.
Oh,
yeah.
14C.
Yeah. So no, we got in on this buck and it didn't work. We thought we still had 100 yards and we didn't. We had 40 yards and he was off to our side and he busted out. So then we kind of grounded out for a few days. We got into some other opportunities and then we decided, I'm not really a muley guy. I've never really chased muley much. So I'm like, heck, dude, let's go back into the hills and let's chase the coos because we got to close this tag out.
I was already like, no, I'm not hunting.
He was all gung ho on muleys before we got into before we went to the hunt, and then that one day we chased him for a couple days, and a couple of the other kids in camp. Actually, you're the only one that killed the coos in camp. Everybody else killed muleys.
Yeah.
So then, we went to like day 5 or 6 and got up into the hills and got him on a real solid buck. I would say like low to mid 90s. We got him laid down, just first light, and that buck kind of got out of our sight. And
before that, we went around to try to shoot him, and we went down this wash, and we were walking down, and this 100-inch buck at least just jumped out.
He was all of 100 inches, but he was like tucked under a tree 50 yards from where we were laying down, trying to shoot 350 across this little canyon, and he jumped out. So anyways, we go around trying to find this buck. We never relocated him. Came back out the next day, and we found another buck on the same hill. I think he's 60-inch 3-point. But as soon as I showed him to him, he was skyline, gray light. And I'm like, hey, you want to shoot that one? And he instantly lit up, like all excited.
It was last day. I was very exhausted.
Yeah. And then he shot the first time, he hit it the first shot, and then it kind of got a little western after that. Rewinding back before the season, he was struggling with this weird trigger flinch, and as he would pull the trigger, the gun was always kicking high right. Yeah. So we worked on that through the summer, and then we did more of it just before the season started, and then lo and behold, that came back. He hit the deer once. He kind of hit him deep.
Okay.
It would have been fatal, but obviously he's still on his feet. Let's get more in him.
Sure.
Yeah.
And then so he shoots and he misses. He shoots and he misses, and I'm like, man, what the heck's going on? And then the deer he hits the deer again, and it goes up over the hill. And I realized what was happening, so we ended up barreling down, going out chasing it, and we found him at like 150 yards. Couldn't get really good angles on him. And then we ended up, maybe an hour later, he got back on his feet, just kind of stumbled around, and Ryder put one more round in his ribs, and that was it. Nice. But we were backing some stuff, man. It was definitely wasn't his favorite pack out ever.
So are you still interested in coos, or do you want to try mule deer now, or you're coos?
Coos, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, my man. Yeah.
They taste better too.
Yeah.
Yeah, they do. That's definitely
just half the size. That's the bummer.
That's the only bummer.
Yeah.
But the thrill is still just as good.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Heck yeah.
That's cool. So that's your first deer, or
second?
That's your second deer.
Yeah.
Okay.
He also killed 2 javelina.
He killed 2 javelina in 24. He drew a tag for like an early season, and then he killed another one on that youth hunt where you get the companion tag.
Yeah.
For your yeah.
That's awesome.
What'd you guys do with that one? Like, what'd you turn him into?
Well, we've only ate a little bit, but we use them for tacos.
Nice.
We do a crock pot recipe that we got from Josh Kirchner.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah,
okay.
So Josh posted a recipe, and I tried it once because everybody does chorizo with it,
Right.
And I wanted to finally do something different, and javelina can be a make or break thing with a meal. Some people hate it or love it first time, and so we tried something different, and it worked out for us. And crockpot meal. Yeah. I got the recipe on Hunt AZ. Josh also has it posted, or you can Google it.
Yeah.
But it's a dang good recipe, man.
Sweet.
Yeah.
I'll try it out sometime.
Okay.
And all you do is, once it's all done, you literally reach in, grab the bone, and the bone comes out, and everything's shredded for you.
Like a shoulder? Or
I did
rear hind.
I did half of it. I do a backstrap, front and rear.
Oh, wow.
Just throw it all in the crock pot together.
Okay.
Nice. Yeah. I got a family. I got three kids, so it's got to feed a lot of people.
Yeah, mouths to feed. Definitely.
Yeah.
That's awesome. What's your any other upcoming hunts?
I have a cow elk tag in October.
Let's go.
Yeah.
And then my wife drew an archery bull tag.
Sweet. Dude, there you
She's
go.
excited. She's excited and she's nervous. But,
She hunted before?
yeah, she's hunted deer with the bow and stuff like that before.
okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
She loves to hunt. She's killed a couple coos, a muley. Yeah, she's done well.
Okay. Awesome. Dude,
I actually want her to not draw another tag this year. I want let me draw a tag.
Give me one.
Yeah,
She draws every year.
she does. She draws deer tags every year.
And you don't, or what?
Well, like the last time I drew a tag was with him, that I donated to him last year, because
Okay.
last year he turned 10, so
Okay.
it was his first year hunting, and I didn't want him to have to wait another year.
Right.
But then I think the last time before that, my brother-in-law here and I, we drew when it was like 2020.
Yeah.
But my wife decides to get a deer tag every year. Yeah. So,
Oh, you know what? I'll go get one.
yeah. I might just take out her knees one of these times and be like, I'm going alone. I'm taking your tag.
Looks
Yeah.
like you can't hunt this year.
Whoops.
Darn.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Awesome. Well, if you guys aren't, you should be following Hunt AZ on Instagram, Facebook. Where else are
If
you?
you're not, then I don't know.
I primarily do the Instagram stuff. I do a little bit on Facebook. I think my Facebook stuff just shows up because I haven't linked to the Instagram. But yeah, and Facebook's gotten wild lately. Like there's just so much negativity on Facebook that I don't face on. I was looking at some comments on. I posted a picture of a kid with a mountain lion the other day. And man, the hate crimes that came in on that, just the comments were insane.
That's crazy.
And I was like, I don't see this on Instagram. And I rarely look at the Facebook stuff, but mainly on Instagram and Facebook.
You gotta follow the words of Joe Rogan. Don't read the comments.
I definitely on that I don't. I go through and I was really surprised at what was being said on there.
Yeah. Where are we right now in terms of anything in Arizona that we need to be aware of? Anything with like howl or any of that stuff going on? Any anti-hunting initiatives that you can drop real quick in this?
I'm not 100% sure on one. I saw one came up. John Stallone from Howell texted me the other day, and something it popped up in conversation there, and he and I have been trying to get in contact with each other. We haven't made that call happen yet. So I think they've got something that's kind of brewing. But when I figure that out, I will share it and then I'll send it to you as well.
We need to do something on that. I want to get with Howell and podcast with them too.
Yeah.
I've told him like 3 times. I feel bad, but I'm like, hey, I want to do like a state of the union of hunting.
Yeah.
And we'll
that'd be
eventually
cool.
get there and do that. But this just kind of ebbs and flows. So
You're right.
we'll get back into it and get everybody up to speed on where all the anti-hunting stuff is and what they're doing to try and, their sneaky ways.
Yeah, there's always something going on, you know. And if it's not in Arizona, it'll still affect everybody. So when you guys see these, everybody out there that's listening, when you guys see these things come across, even if it's Washington or Colorado or whatever state, you got to do your part. Try to help everybody you can. Even if you're a deer guy and they're talking about bears and lions, still got to do it because eventually it's gonna come knocking on your door.
Well, even like my aunt and uncle, for instance, live in Estes Park, Colorado.
Yeah.
And I told them, I said, hey, you've got a ballot initiative on the ballot for this year's election, this last election or whatever. I was like, you guys need to vote no on this. And I said, they're trying to ban mountain lion hunting, all this, blah, blah, blah. And they aren't hunters whatsoever, but they know what I do and they support me. And they're like, okay, cool. Thanks for making us aware of this. And they went, we're able to vote. So.
And that's what it takes. If everybody can get their voice out and just hit up a couple people like that, So
yeah,
that's the kind of things we need from everybody.
Yes, sir. So that guys like this can be the next hunting generation.
Yeah, I don't want to see it go away, man.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You want to go shoot another coos, right?
Yeah.
You got a lion recently, didn't you?
I got one in 21. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. What do you? He's like, yes. He wants one. He's all pumped about it. Yeah.
It tastes really good.
Yeah, it did taste pretty dang good.
That's awesome.
What would you compare it to?
Pork.
Okay, I've heard that.
It had like the consistency and the color of pork. You do have to cook it. I think you got to break 165 on it because of the trichinosis. Yeah. So you got to break that. We did a lot of crockpot stuff with it. We did some stuff. I did like rib rolls. Like I took all the rib flank meat and everything and rolled it up with cream cheese and jalapenos. That was good on the grill.
Really good.
That sounds fun.
Yeah, we did a lot of stuff with it, man. It was pretty good.
I'm hungry. You don't know where you get some food around here.
Yeah, I know. Well, looking at the clock inside, we've got 41 minutes left before we go in. So
sweet.
Yeah.
Cool. Awesome, guys. Well, appreciate you hopping on.
No problem. Thanks for having us, man. Yeah.
Good to finally get with you guys.
Absolutely.
Ryder, thanks for jumping on and telling us about your cruise.
Yeah. Thank you.
And let's do a follow-up after your cow hunt and then your wife's
Yeah,
hunt.
do it again in the fall. I'm down.
Absolutely. Man.
Cool.
Yeah.
Awesome, guys. Well, thank you.
Good luck on your hunt.
Yeah.
Thanks, guys.
All right, guys, we're here at another segment at our live podcast at the Wild Game Night at Radiant Church.
We got 2 more victims.
We've got my dad, Larry.
Hello.
And then we've got Mike.
Hey.
What's going on, Mike?
How you doing?
Good. So Mike has bought, I guess you could say my childhood home, pretty much. And it now lives at the house that I grew up in for probably about half my childhood, I guess. But Mike, you're a pretty avid hunter.
I am.
Where have you all hunted in the States?
Oh, I hunt. I try to hunt Virginia as much as I can for whitetails because they're very. I've got quite a few deer there. Buffalo in South Dakota in the last year. Got a mountain lion right here in Payson last year.
Wow. Okay. Was that guided or was that just?
That was. So I've got a cabin up in Strawberry.
Okay.
And I've got a good friend up there that's got dogs.
Okay.
And so I've been going. I've just kind of ride along with them for the last 3 years. And this year I said, I think that's what I'm going to take.
You put in the work with him a little bit though already.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Yep.
That's
many
cool.
miles.
Now, do you are you weapon agnostic, or do you prefer a bow or a rifle, or just kind of doesn't matter? You just want to hunt?
You know, I grew up in Michigan, and I grew up bow hunting because that was what we did, and we'd hunt on the stands. But as I've gotten older and career's taken a lot more of my time, it seems I've gotten where I grab a rifle because it's quicker, easier, and really, I guess I shouldn't even say that, you know, because that's part of what I guess I would discuss is I just came back from a pig hunt in Texas, and one of the things I really thought there is I try to take, I've got a construction company, and I take some employees, and so I took 3 new hunters with me, and that's the one thing I guess I would say is we should have done more prep time before we went, you know, so a lot of people think it's easy, grab your rifle and go, but really you still need to prep.
Yeah. Did you do the thermal thing where you hunt at night and use thermals and all that?
I do.
Oh yeah. I had a bunch of buddies that just went and did that. We'll usually do a Texas trip every year. There's like some access and some works there and stuff, but we'll usually kind of open it with the, I guess, under the guise of like a meat hunt, because you can usually shoot, $300 you can shoot a whitetail doe, 500 or 600 you can shoot an axis doe.
Get a coal
and then of
buck,
course you're sitting there in a blind, and all of a sudden a 32-inch axis buck walks in, and you're like, how much are those?
I've been on those hunts. I know exactly what you're saying.
Very opportunistic occasion. Yeah.
What's my credit card limit? What do you but so yeah, we've done that a couple of years now. I think this year was the first year I actually didn't go, but I had some buddies that went and they did the thermal pig hunt. They shot some fallow and some axis and stuff. So
Larry and my dad, we took them to Texas. So
yeah, we did a good father-son hunt. You and me, you got your first big game animal out there in Texas. Shot some does and stuff. And yeah, that was fun. Mike, do you have one particular hunting story that sticks out, or just kind of above the rest?
Well, I don't know. This last year, I went to New Mexico for a bull elk hunt, and it was a friend of mine that passed away last year. And he and I had been talking about, what do you do? Was it elk or was it deer, or how do you do this? You know, and he said, I'm getting older and whatnot. And COVID was hard on him. And I said, Joe, we never know how long we're gonna live. I said, so do them both. Do them both. The clock's ticking, man. Knock it out. Well, he didn't make it. And so the family asked me to go, and so I walked into this camp that was really set up for an older hunter that, it was a landowner tag. And the first thing I said to the guide was, I'm here. Joe's looking over my shoulder right now. We're going to hunt the whole hunt, 5 days. And that's when we're going to get a bull, right? And that's cool. And I would say that to me, it was one of the most epic hunts, because I feel that Joe, he had a mountain lion come in next to us while we were calling the bulls. Oh, wow. And so that was exciting. And we saw other times where the outfitter was calling, and a young calf might come right off the end of my rifle, let's say, and it was kind of the neatest thing to watch for 5 days. And so I don't know, that one's near and dear to me because I feel like my friend was there with me on that.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
That's really cool.
Jake, you want to pick that mic up for him a little bit?
Oh, yeah.
There you go. Tighten that real good.
Gotcha.
Because it'll start to
Gotcha.
slip down there. Dad, what has your most memorable hunt been?
Well, there haven't been that many because I'm a rookie hunter.
That's okay.
It's all good.
But I suppose the first elk was the most memorable.
Yep.
It was in the wild, of course, and you were with me. And of course, the last day of the hunt, and we'd seen plenty of cows, no bulls.
No bulls.
Of course, like 10 cows, 0 bulls, and we were
That's how it always works.
the last afternoon, and we decided to sit a water hole. Remember, we decided to build a blind. So we built a blind.
Kind of a gung ho Hail Mary.
Hail Mary.
Like, hey,
Yep.
can we build a blind in like 20 minutes?
Yep. So
it's like, man, sometimes you're just like, is this really going to work? Like, am I being dumb?
Worked.
It worked.
yeah,
It works.
So as I recall, it was about 4:30. We started to see some cows wander in, and I think Stephen you were more excited than I was when you saw a bull. Like, oh, Dad, there's a right there. And I remember you telling me, now make sure it has horns. Make sure.
I was like, put your crosshairs on his head first and then follow down his body because I want to be sure.
Shoot a cow.
Well, they were kind of, to be fair though, too, they were kind of on top of each other.
Up.
Yeah. And you had trees in between, you had pines in the way. So it was like, you could easily see a head on one side and a body on the other. And it might
You're trying to say he's old and doesn't have good eyesight. That's what you're saying.
That's true. And I remember taking the shot. It wasn't a difficult shot. I think it was less than 100 yards. And,
it was like 80 yards.
Yeah, and of course, shoot him, and all the cows around, darted off. And he tried to go, but then he stopped. And I'm sitting there waiting. Okay, what's going to happen here? And Stephen says, "Shoot him again! Shoot him again!"
That's awesome.
So I racked another round and shot him again, and he flinched and he stood there like teetering.
Yeah.
Stephen says, "Shoot him again!"
Doing that wobble. He wasn't going anywhere.
No, he wasn't going anywhere.
They just can soak up bullets sometimes, though. Like every one of those shots, and there's a video on my Instagram of you doing all this, but every one of those shots was right in the boiler room. They just soaked them up.
Yep.
The rest is history.
I've got a theory that sometimes some of those closer shots, I've got a theory because like my coos, I shot at 30 yards. And dude, I had no blood. Like I only found them because I zigzagged. I have a theory that if you're too close with a rifle, it just zips through it and it doesn't have time to mushroom and really expand and create a cavity wound. So, I don't know. That's just a possibility.
I guess it depends on the bullet too. I mean, some of those, like the one that you're using probably, that's meant for long range shooting. So like those Hornady ELDs, they've got those ballistic rubber, like plastic tips on them to help carry that velocity out.
Yeah.
Where versus like a burger with a nice, good hollow point tip should expand pretty dang quick.
Right. Yep.
Yeah.
Mike, you've got an Africa trip in your future.
I do. I was at a mule deer banquet that I went to here recently, and
That's awesome.
I raised my hand one too many times at the auction.
Well, at least you got something good out of it.
Yeah, I'm anxious to go. I'm, it's one of those with the a la carte menu of animal types, and so I've always wanted a zebra.
Okay.
And so that's kind of the one that I've already picked.
I think they want you to get a zebra too.
They pretty avidly want to get rid of them.
Oh, really?
They're a bully animal. So if they come into water, they'll kick almost other than maybe like a Cape Buffalo, other than a Cape Buffalo or something, they'll kick everything else off water. They're mean.
Well, see, I'm doing this for the conservation.
That's right.
Exactly.
So big of you, Mike.
Other than a zebra, anything else on the list, really?
I would say jackal, but I don't know what those are like either. I'm going, that just sounds cool to me.
I would say they're pretty comparable to like their coyote.
Okay.
That's what it's like.
Okay.
And they're there. I saw some when I was there. I also had a honey badger come in, which I thought was pretty cool. Yeah. Some just kind of odd stuff that you don't really see very often.
You had a baboon.
Yeah, I had a baboon. I hit him in the arm, but I just a few inches to the left. Too much.
Okay.
But dude, if you see a baboon that comes in, they are very hard to kill, and I would say absolutely shoot one if you can. They have almost human eyesight, so they can see into the blind very well. So if they are looking at you, you cannot move at all because they'll see it. Like you can't draw your bow back. You have to wait till they're looking away to draw your bow and shoot.
Gotcha.
It's wild.
Gotcha.
But yeah, they're pretty cool. It's exciting. You're going to see a ton of stuff. The hunting there is inversed. So whereas we wake up super early and go out first thing in the morning, you actually sleep in and you get up and start hunting at like 11.
Sounds like my kind of hunting.
You hunt the afternoon, you're done by like 3, 4 o'clock, and then you go and hang out the rest of the night, eat, and have a good time, and go to sleep, and do it again.
Well, you're getting me more and more excited. I think I might.
He's gonna get nice breakfast.
Finalize those dates after this.
And you do kind of have to be a little vocal. It just depends on your guide. I had a younger guide that was antsy like me. If you want to spot and stalk, you just need to tell them, hey man, I want to go spot and stalk, and they'll be like, okay. They're pretty avid though that they always go first, just because you've got Cape Buffalo and stuff like that. They're I think they walk around with like what do they walk around with? Like 470 nitro or some crazy gun or something.
454 capsule or something.
Yeah. But it's a great time. It's so fun there, and you're gonna be hooked.
Good.
I said this in the last episode or the last segment, but my guide on that hunt told me after I shot my kudu, he's like, Africa, once it's in your blood, you'll never stop coming back.
I've heard that.
And he's true. I was like, oh man. I was like, I can't wait to go back again. So
cool. Do you have any tags this year?
I didn't draw anything in Arizona this year.
Okay.
Which is not a big shocker, let's say. But I also put in for hard to get opportunities because I do already have a moose hunt in Alaska booked for September. So
this guy's got it all. Jeez. That's my dream
hunt
known
there.
Yeah. Wow.
So
that's cool.
That's awesome.
This is the next one I'm getting ready for.
So is that September then?
September, I think it's 5 through 15.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sweet.
So.
With a bow?
No. Probably going to take a rifle.
Okay. Well, still, that'd be awesome.
Trying to decide exactly which one.
Would that be your first moose?
I've been on a moose hunt in British Columbia before,
and
I've seen one, but this would hopefully be a successful first moose hunt. Yeah.
Cool. Well, I hope so. That'd be awesome.
Yeah.
But after you get it, we'll have to hear about it.
I was going to say, we got to follow up after that.
Right. Yeah. Well, you both know where to find me.
This is true.
Yep.
This is true. Cool.
Awesome.
Well, appreciate you coming on and hopping on and sharing some stories. That was really cool.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks for putting this together, guys.
Of course.
Yeah. Yep.
Let's go get some food here soon. I'm hungry.
That's good.
Heck yeah, man.
All right, guys, what's up? We're here with another segment at the live podcast at the Wild Game Night here at Radiant Church. Go ahead and introduce yourselves again.
Hello, my name is Brody Arbuckle.
And I'm Nathan. I'm his dad.
Right on.
Right.
Well,
Sweet.
so you've got a pretty cool story. You just walked up and said that we're the reason you have 2 successful hunts.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
So last year on my javelina hunt.
Don't sir me. I'm not that old.
So last year on my javelina hunt,
Yeah.
I'm heading out to Lake Pleasant. I'm like on my turnoff, just head out there.
Yep.
And I hear in your podcast about finding water.
Talk nice and close to that.
Okay.
But he's getting animated with it. I love it. It's great.
It's good.
About finding water and then following from the water. And so
Yeah.
I took that tip and it worked immediately and I got a javelina that day.
Oh, dude, that's sick.
And then
it was his first ever hunt with a bow, too.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so you guys are the reason.
That's cool, man. That's good.
Awesome.
And then on your OTC Deer Hunt podcast,
Yep.
the 2 episodes that you guys did,
Yep.
that's also the reason behind it.
Really?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Dude, that's so cool.
And so about 2 months ago, we were out by Wickenburg, and your tip on sorry, what was it?
You're good.
I'm sorry, I'm getting nervous here. The podcast I've been listening to, I'm finally on. I did not see this coming. No. But your glassing tip podcast, and that was the sole reason behind it, because your glassing strategy that you guys were talking about,
Yep.
that was like my glassing strategy before like listening to you guys, my shooting, my mechanics, like everything. I just want to say I really appreciate it because you guys are actually the reason behind it, and I imagine a lot more success other than me. So, yeah.
That's cool, man.
And it was pretty cool because we've been done a lot of rifle hunting. And I learned from him listening to you guys. He's like, oh, Dad, I listen to this podcast. Because when you're rifle hunting, it's different glassing style really than bow hunting because of how close you have to be in movement. So it's cool because we went out there. He's just saying all these things, and I've been hunting for 20 years, and he's, oh, no, this and this. And I'm like, what? I felt like the kid listening to the dad, like, okay, I'm going to learn from my son now. So
you're like, no, Dad, no, that's not how we do it.
Dude, that's so awesome to see that come full circle. Because I only started this just because I started hunting just before I was 30. And I just figured, like, hey, if I have questions and want to know things and learn, I figured I might as well just record it and share that with people.
Right.
So that's cool to have the affirmation that, like, yeah, there are other people that have the same questions that I do, and they can learn from it and all that stuff. So,
and like, I just came up on 20 years old, and it's crazy because without this information online, like, a 20-year-old hunter would not be nearly as successful without it, like, at all. And so it's nice because we have all this information online that we could find, we could source, that literally just launches us ahead of where we would normally and traditionally be. Like, it's just crazy. It's crazy.
Yeah, because even for me, I'm just like you. I started hunting when I was 29, went out to Texas for a hog hunt.
That's awesome.
And the guys that we were, the ranch we were hunting on, all of them were like, wait, you're almost 30 and you've never hunted? Like, they couldn't even fathom that. And we didn't see any hogs, and the guy, and we, in Texas, you can buy a tag over the counter that's for pretty much everything.
Right.
And this guy goes, hey, we normally charge a lot for deer, but this is your first hunt? You're not going home alone. So the next day, we went from hog hunting to deer hunting.
That's
shot my first deer, and I was addicted. But 20 years ago, it was you had to watch the real grainy, 600 channels in cable, or go buy videos at Cabela's and be like, okay, I watched this one, but I want to see all of them. But it's the same thing. But nowadays, you can learn so much stuff, and I'm learning a lot from him now. So it's cool to get out. Now I'm going to go get my bow restrung and start bow hunting with him, and I'm going to feel like the student to my son who's the teacher for me. So.
Also, in case anybody is listening to this, don't forget to follow and turn on the notification in Spotify.
Yeah.
So you don't miss any episodes.
Yeah, that's right. Do you guys have any tags coming up?
I have an OTC tag that I will fill out this August or December.
I'll be going. It was really kind of sad because none of our family drew this year. I've been very lucky. I've drawn 4 bull tags in the last 8 years.
Wow.
And 3 years ago, kind of to go with the cool story, I had got 2 elk tags, waited 3 years, thinking I'm never going to draw. I'm just going to buy a bonus point. I'm like, I'll just put in for 23 North early rifle, and with 3 points, I drew it. So we went out. We found the elk that we ended up shooting. We found him Sunday night right at sunset. He was going up the top of a hill with his cows, and there was another good-sized bull up there.
Right.
The next morning, we found them kind of ending their fight, but we got back on my bull. We actually found the bull I shot broke off the other bull's antler, and we found it. It was still dripping wet, so it's sitting at home. So that was a really cool story. But I got pretty lucky pulling that tag and finding a really nice elk.
Dude, that's awesome.
That's awesome.
What a cool hunt though too. Do you have it like setting in his antlers? Like it's his trophy?
No, I don't because it's too wide for the antlers to sit in it. So I guess that's part of the cool part about that.
Yeah,
but
that's cool.
Like cling together or something, that'd be cool.
Yeah, and what was really cool is his left hindquarters. He had about a 6-inch hole in his skin.
Oh, really?
From fighting. So another bull got
impaled.
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, and he had another big scar from the year before in his chest. So we're like, this was the nasty guy of this whole little mountain range area. So
that's awesome.
But yeah, it's pretty cool. But no, now he's like, you got to start listening to them, and now I have to because I got to catch up to learning what he's learned.
Thanks to them. No.
So are you coos or mule deer?
Mule deer only.
Mule deer only.
I love the mass. I love the size. It's I'm not gonna pull my release until a deer over 180, and I have not killed a deer with my bow yet.
Yep.
But we will see. We will see.
All right. I like it.
Hopefully, this August, your glassing tips will help out.
Yeah. August is tough, man. Have you hunted in August yet?
The pressure's on now.
No, and
it's hot.
Yeah. It's gonna be hard to pack in the water. That's for sure.
That's true. Yeah, you might have to take some extras in and hide them or something, and then hit them up or something midday. But yeah.
Have you done any deep backpack hunts?
No, not yet. We keep talking about it. We want to do one.
Yeah, we've got the gear for it.
We've got the ultralight tent.
A few years ago, I went and bought a ultralight tent.
Yep.
For that same purpose, everything, but just I guess life gets in the way. And
for sure.
And that's why it's good to be 20, because he tells me what he's like, oh, Dad, I'm going to hike back like 7 miles, bring my camp, my water. And I'm like, what are you doing? That makes no sense to me. I'm like, no, you got to hike. He's like, no, I'll make trips and do that. And then I'll be out there for 5 or 6 days. And I'm like, well, you'll find deer that not many people are going to see.
100%. Yeah.
What is your backpack hunt plan? Like what species?
Probably would be, I would say, for a coos deer. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Nice.
Mine would be mule deer.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, coos or maybe even something like that. I was thinking even for like a bear hunt. A bear hunt would be cool.
Yeah. Bear hunt would be good too.
Because there's some gnarly areas that you got to get into, and having to climb and do the descent and climb again and all that in one day, it wears you out. So and you do that day after day after day, you're toast.
So if we had to pack out that bear that night out of that canyon, I would have probably also said we should have stayed over there.
Yeah, because that's crazy to hike back that far and then have that kind of weight pulling out, and you're taking so many trips. But hey, I mean, for the people that do it, kudos. Those are some crazy guys and girls, but crazy people that just do that kind of distance hiking and camping.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, so that's where you would take your time. You know, there's no rush, and that I think would be the beneficial of doing that backcountry.
Definitely.
Well, while I'm here, I might as well ask, do you guys have any bear OTC tips for Bo?
For Bo.
Food and water, man.
I mean, you can absolutely 100% spot and stock for Bo. If it's, do they have any early season summer hunts anymore? It's all pretty much kind of later now, huh? Prickly pears are going to be your best friend. Depending on what elevation you're hunting, prickly pears are going to be your best friend. He shot and missed at a giant cinnamon, but it stopped on a 2-track trail and was eating a prickly pear while he shot
watching it eat the prickly pears.
Yeah. So that they find the food, and bears are mostly food driven.
100%.
If you're wanting to do it with a bow, I would also recommend that you consider sitting a water source. Find some sort of small seep or spring. They usually like to get in and dip in the water. And I've got, back when trail cameras were legal, I've got a sow. I think it's a sow. It might have been a boar, but floating on its back with its 4 paws in water, just like looking almost like comedic.
Natural spring, somewhere where there's going to be water year round.
They like to dunk and swim because they're hot. They've got all that further.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And when they're escalating up canyon walls, I mean, it's gonna wear them down too. You know? So they're gonna get hot. They're gonna get food, all the calories, everything like that.
So I would for sure start with food sources number 1, maybe water number 2. You're going to see the food sources change as you go through elevation. So you might be like, all right, I'm looking at 4,000 feet elevation, and these prickly pears look like they're kind of dried out now. They don't seem as juicy. They're not as that vibrant red. And then you'll find the ones that you could squeeze and the juice will come out of the prickly pear. That's what that bear stopped and ate, because that juice was actually, I think I took a picture of it. The juice is running down the cactus palm that he had just taken a bite out of. And so they want that very rich, very abundant food that they could literally just turn their head and take a snack over here,
If you can find a spot where it can drastically change from prickly pears to even acorns within a couple miles, that would be more.
And you'll also start to find
great.
some additional sign, like rocks flipped over, freshly flipped over. They love to root and flip rocks over for grubs or roots or other things like that. So you can find all these signs together kind of, and then plus their poop. It's about a human-sized pile of poop, and it's just this massive thing. You'll know when you see one. Have you seen one yet, or?
Yeah. Okay. It looks like they're pooping in a circle.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. You'll know when you see it. But when you when you start to add all those clues together, definitely you're in the money spot.
I mean, the other thing to think about too is a bear is going to be in an area where he's going to try to be able to hide and be seclusive, right? So he's not going to be out somewhere down low in the flat open areas, because everybody will be able to see him. He's going to be somewhere in the hillsides. He's going to be in a canyon. He'll be in some gnarly troughs, somewhere where there's elevation change, and either thick areas where it's real thick wooded, or if it's thick brush, something like that.
our experience typically has been like we will find the nastiest, thickest canyon possible, and I'd say 99% of the time we've found bears. So,
Okay.
where humans would be like, I'm not going there.
Which is what keeps a lot of hunters out of those
Yes.
areas, because on that elk hunt, one of the canyons, one of the guys was with me. He's like, "Oh yeah, I shot my bear back there," and I'm like, "You mean where it looks like it just goes straight up and down?" He goes, "Oh, it was a gnarly hike out, but that's what you got to do."
That's what you got to do.
Be prepared to do some wild stuff to get that bear out of wherever you shoot it at.
I think
rope and other things are sometimes required. So.
I would say bear hunting in Arizona is probably the hardest hunt to do. I would say it's probably harder than bighorns.
I would say it's right there with sheep for sure.
Yeah. And depending on where you're hunting, it can be more excruciating than bighorns.
Is that mainly just because of the terrain, or because they're so smart?
Both.
Yeah.
Both.
Yeah, I would say that the terrain that we hunted is also bighorn.
Yeah. That's where there's
so.
Rocky Mountain bighorns in there. So yeah. Just think of some gnarly areas, but water and food source, and you'll find them
For sure.
Yeah.
And then just one more question.
Yeah, go for it.
I have a mixed opinion about this, and I want to know what your guys' is. Do you really think that the deeper you go, the bigger the animals are going to get? Because I hear that so much.
No. A big animal is going to be one, in my opinion, wherever he wants to be, and he is big because he's smart, not because of his location necessarily. I've been 3 miles deep in my spot where there are absolutely other hunters, and I found probably a 180 this year.
Yeah.
So, but I mean,
yeah.
he's just smart, dude.
Where's that spot?
Unit 14C.
Oh, perfect. Yeah.
I mean, I've seen the biggest coos deer that I've seen yet to date, and it's probably maybe a mile away from a road.
Yeah.
A main road.
A freeway.
A freeway, yeah.
In 14C too,
Yes,
right?
yeah. Exactly.
But there's only one highway that goes through it, so you'll find it. Yeah.
I think they're just there just because that they want to be, and you know, if they're smart and if they're big for a reason. It's because they're smart, in my opinion, for the most part. Not necessarily because they're super deep. Although I'm sure the deeper you go, you will find some.
I mean, we're not here to say that's not the case, but there's still great bulls,
I love
deer.
a good wilderness area that only has foot or horse access. Like those are some of my favorite places to hunt.
Okay.
Yeah. Definitely.
Yeah.
What do you think the right balance is between glassing and getting on your feet, moving, and seeing new country?
That's hard for you.
That's tough for me. I'm not. I'm a very hyperactive person. I for sure be classified as the guy that has ADHD. Like if I sit for 30 minutes, I'm ready to get up and move. I'm like, okay, nothing's here. Let's go.
And I'm the
I like
more
to pound
patient.
down.
I'm the more patient person of being more thorough and looking through the glass and trying to pinpoint and pickpocket every little crevice and under every little tree, behind every little rock. Yeah.
Speaking of,
and he's over here like, I need to go.
Well,
And that's us too. He's like, "Dad, we got to go." I'm like, "We just sat down."
To top what he's saying though, this is me glassing a spot that I've hunted for 3 to 4 years now, and so I know where the deer are mostly going to be, so I can go and glass for that 30 to 45 minutes. And if I don't see them in the spots I've seen them previously, then I know I can go over to this next ridge and probably find them.
Yes and
That's
no.
why I'm so quick. So if it was a spot that I hadn't ever hunted before, I probably would be willing to be a little bit more thorough and sit longer.
Yeah, that's where I guess the good balance of, I mean, you two hunting together, where just like us hunting together of you know, hey, we should maybe another 20 more minutes, and then you never know. That buck might just come out of nowhere.
I'll try
Good
and
thing
sit.
you guys stayed there.
I'll try and sit until he's ready to go.
Yeah. That's when you know it's time.
Yeah, exactly.
What glass are you guys running right now?
I just go with the standard Diamondback 12 by 50s from Vortex.
It just depends on the situation, but
$250.
for deer hunting, I'm running the Swaro 15.
So you got a big baller over here.
Nice. Have you tried the Mavens?
No. I've got the Swaro 15s. I'm good.
I guess. Yeah, there's no reason to switch up.
Good.
Hey, have you driven a Pinto or a Lamborghini? You're gonna stick with the Lamborghini.
Yeah. I bit the bullet, and I've never looked back. It's been great.
For sure.
You do run a pair of 10s though also.
I do run a pair of 10 Vortex razors for like elk hunting and turkey hunting, and I don't need them to be as super crisp and clear. I mean, you're only glassing 100, 200 yards at the most. So I want the high-end quality glass when I'm really looking out further.
Right.
Yeah.
I used to have a spotting scope before those 15s, and it was a Swarovski spotting scope, and it was really heavy, and I barely used it, and so I ended up selling it and buying those 15s, and they work great.
It's a lot to lug around. Having a big spotting scope, you got to be really dedicated. That's probably where you're gonna, like the sheep guys, you're trying to count rings or full curl or whatever. That's it. Or I don't know, maybe kaibab, I guess. Also, if you're really wanting to see a buck super up close, but I just think generally for most of us, I don't personally, for me especially, I don't see a reason.
There's certain scenarios for certain people, But that's
Awesome.
Cool.
Awesome. Well, I appreciate you guys.
I appreciate you telling us the stories, man. That's cool that you've actually grabbed some knowledge from us and used
For sure.
it. That's really, really cool.
That made my night, honestly.
Yeah.
That was
Awesome. Well, I'm glad. I appreciate everything that y'all have been doing and putting out. So keep doing it. It's helping us out.
Looking forward to your next success, man. That's awesome.
So, well, I'll tag you guys on my deer this year, hopefully.
Please do.
Heck yeah. Cool.
Awesome, guys. Well, thank you. Appreciate
Thanks
you
for
coming
sitting
on.
with us.
Thank you. Yeah. Bye. All right, everybody, welcome to our next segment on the live Bowhunting AZ podcast here at the Wild Game Night at Radiant Church. We've got Wayne from Mounted Memories Taxidermy.
How you doing?
Good, man. How are you?
I'm awesome.
So we've got a bunch of, I would say, sick taxidermy in here. And I complimented you specifically on one thing that I personally like is all the like little habitat pieces that you put with a lot of the mounts that I've seen in there.
Yeah.
So you've got various different size mounts in there. I think I saw like a couple shoulders, but most of it was a little bit more than shoulder mounts.
Yeah, I have a full mount mountain lion up on the wall. I have a full mount javelina. I have a full mount bobcat.
You got a Coues deer bedded down. That looked really cool.
The Coues deer is not mine.
Okay.
I'm not sure where that came from,
Okay.
but I was looking
But he
at
could do that.
Yeah, I could do that. Yeah, the laying down ones are kind of cool to do. I like doing mounts that are like the laid back, kind of like chilling, looking natural instead of, some guys, they want to look like all aggressive, like
clawing or whatever. Yeah.
Look, if that's what they want, I'll do it for them. But I really like doing, the ones that are just laid back that look kind of natural.
Right, exactly. Yeah.
How long have you been doing taxidermy for, and what got you into it initially?
Well, I started doing it about 8-9 years ago. I just started doing little things here and there, because I wanted to learn. I was always interested in it. I got kind of aggravated waiting for my taxidermist to get stuff done, so I just thought maybe I should do it on my own.
Yeah.
And the YouTube videos and all that kind of stuff, and then I decided, if I'm going to take this serious, I need to go and get my education. So I actually went to a taxidermy school and learned I was doing everything wrong. And then everything they show you online does not work, right?
YouTube wasn't right?
No. YouTube University does not work at taxidermy. I'll tell you that right now. So, but no, I got my education and then learned to do it right. And then I opened my shop up about, it's been 6-7 years ago now.
Awesome. So where's your shop at?
I'm here in the valley, but I'm on the east side in Apache Junction. I have a shop out back behind my house. I'm in about 1.5 acres, so I've got a little bit of room, and customers can come in. And I have a walk-in shed cooler that I built. That customers can come and drop animals off even when I'm not there. So it's a real easy place to get in and out of. Customers have told me that they like it because it's easy to get in and out, and we're always there to help them. So
Heck cool. Did you initially start doing some of the habitat with the animals and stuff, or has that always been a thing, or did you kind of pick that up over time?
No, I like doing some habitat around it, kind of, but you have to be careful. There's a gray line between that because you don't want habitat to be more bigger and nicer than your mount.
Right. Outperform.
Right. So you don't want, I've seen some people put habitat that just so big and glamorous that it kind of takes away from the mount.
Overwhelms it, yeah.
Right. So your mount is the art piece, right?
You just want the rest of it to accent it more or less.
Right.
Yeah.
You just want to make it look a little natural, give it some of its habitat. So so there is that gray line that you have to do. But we custom make all of our own habitats, rocks and limbs. We'll use real stuff too that's not going to wither away, obviously. But yeah, we custom make all of our own habitats.
That's awesome. What is your standard turnaround time?
For me, I tell all my customers I'm 12 to 14 months out. And if I feel that I can't get them out done within 12 to 14 months, then I don't bring in the work. So, you hear the stories all the time, like, oh, I've waited 2 years to get my deer back.
Yeah.
I've waited a year and a half. You won't find that with me. If I tell you it's going to be 12, 14 months, chances are you're going to get it even before that 12-month period.
Sure.
So I keep my business down. I don't bring in a bunch of work. And as a matter of fact, just like last week, I turned down probably turn down $10,000 worth of work because I'm not going to bring it in if I can't get done the stuff that I have.
To fulfill it, yeah. I get it.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah,
cool.
I hear you. Well, awesome, man. Do you run any social media or anything like that people can find you? Website?
Yeah, my website is mountedmemoriesaz.com.
Okay.
And then you can find me on Facebook too, Mounted Memories on Facebook.
Okay.
So yeah, they can reach out to me anytime, and I'm willing to help. I have customers that call me when they're up on the mountain. Hey, I just downed an elk and I'm by myself, and I'm like, send me a pin, I'll be right there to help you. So
he's full service.
Yeah. So
what's your number again?
Right. Yeah, but I'm happy to be here for the church. They reached out and asked me if I would, donate some mounts and stuff. And I happen to be a Christian myself. I don't go to this church, but I was like, if that's what you guys need, I'm there for you. So,
well, kind of the same situation. I don't go here either, but I just am drawn to the wild game night, and I like the men's event. A lot of people have been throwing around the phrase iron sharpens iron, and I like all that stuff of what tonight kind of brings. So.
Absolutely, yeah. So this is my first time here. The funny story is that I used to live in Surprise, and I came to this church when they first built it. I watched it being built, and then I came here right when it got just opened.
Yeah.
And started coming here, but then life changed and, moved away, and now I'm away out on the east side of town.
Now you're way over there, yeah.
But I found it very interesting that it was this church that called me, after all these years. And it took me a minute after the phone call. I'm like, oh, wait a minute, I know that church.
I've been there before.
Right?
Yeah.
Sweet.
Well, cool, man. Yeah.
No, well, thanks for having me, guys.
Yeah. Glad you came on. Let's go ahead and catch dinner because we're starting right now. So.
Yeah, stomach's growling.
I'm hungry, man. I'm starving.
I'm starving. Yeah.
All right, brother. Well, let's do another episode in the future. I'll try and link up with you, and we'll just do a dedicated one-on-one podcast.
That'd be awesome.
We can interview you, talk taxidermy, talk some actual hunting stories and all that.
Oh, I got a bunch of them.
Let's do it. I'd be happy to. That'd be awesome.
I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Cool. All right, guys.
Well, thanks for coming on, man.
Yeah, thank you.
No,
all right.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for listening to the Bowhunting AZ podcast. Please be sure to subscribe to the podcast and smash those 5 stars on iTunes or Spotify and leave a little review at the bottom. It'll really help us out. For our short films, go subscribe over on YouTube. Just search Bowhunting AZ. Don't forget to follow us on Instagram and Facebook at Bowhunting AZ. Good luck to everyone this season. Thank you again for listening. We'll catch you in the next episode.